Welcome to Illinois and Garden Zone 5. So we are into past mid-September already. So I want to give you a garden tour of the new cut flower garden. So this is its first season. Want to show you around a little bit, see how it's doing now as we're heading into fall, and then do a walkthrough of the back flower garden. And also I wanted to show you the mailbox garden. It's looking gorgeous. And I want to do all this because I'm getting ready to leave on vacation. And you know what happens when you're gone? Things don't get watered like they should. And we're expecting really hot temperatures for September here in Illinois next week. So I'm kind of concerned that I might lose some stuff. I haven't started putting out my fall stuff. I'm going to do that when I get back. So let's get going today. Let me show you some of the beautiful things in the cut flower garden since last garden tour, and show you some stuff in the back garden. Okay, so while we're walking around, I'm also watering, so I'm doing double duty. I'm trying to get in a really good water before I leave tomorrow. So I want the plants to be as hydrated as they can be. We have had all kinds of bumblebee and butterfly action today in the garden. It is just really pretty, but it is extremely hot. Like I said, I think we're close to 90 today. So the salvia, the zinnias, the marigolds, all looking beautiful still. Look at the dahlias though, and look how pretty they are. So we have some white ones, we have some little pink ones, and then we have these huge pink yellow ones that are absolutely gorgeous. Now back here, this is cinnamon basil, and I grew this from seed from Johnny's. Really like it, smells really good, and I use it in fresh flower arrangements. And as you can see, the butterflies like it too. So I have another dahlia back here that's just started blooming, and it's gonna be kind of a lavender. It starts out as a lavender and then turns more white as it goes along. Let me pull this back a little bit. There we go. Yep, that's really pretty. So it's got buds on it, so I'm expecting more of those. I did grow the foxglove from seed, so it's doing good this year. And then back here I want to show you this gorgeous rose that I planted this season. And this is Pope John II. And look at these beautiful white flowers. And look how abundant they are on it. Now this is I think it's a hybrid tea if I recall. And so it has lots and lots of blooms on it. It's looking really pretty, real disease resistant. Look how healthy those leaves look. And this one over here is all dressed up, and it's super pretty also, and it's a grand floral. Also, it looks like it's going to be a disease resistant one. It's its first season, so really pretty blooms on those. Now over here I've got more of those compact zinnias that are just looking profuse. A little bit ago I had butterflies just all over them. We've got some snaps that I planted from seed. I've cut off a ton of them and used them in fresh flower arrangements. We have a few right here still, and I probably will do those again next year from seed. They did really well. So we've got some lavender and more salvia there, the marigolds, and I told you I probably will do marigolds again right here in these corner boxes next year. I really like the pop of color on each end. I think it's really pretty for the cut flower garden. Now over here, I have pumpkins, pumpkins, and pumpkins. So I'm curious to see how they do when I'm gone, but let's see if we can see down inside there. Look at all of those little pumpkins I have. There's more down in there, and it's just loaded, those vines. And I grew those from seed too. And those are those little miniature pumpkins. So I'll have lots of decorating I can do with them. Oh, and look at this pretty butterfly, guys. Let me move isn't that pretty? So overall, really happy with the results for the first season of the cut flower garden. It's gave me a lot of learning, a lot of experimenting, trying new plants, seeing what I like to grow, to cut flowers, to use in fresh flower arrangements, and what I like just for color. So every year it'll just evolve, and I'll keep trying new things and learning from it. So let's now head on over to the back garden. Now I will point out, do you see the trellises on the back of the fence, the black trellises? Those aren't trellises, they were an experiment that I tried. I wanted a backdrop for whatever I end up with in my focal point in my cut flower garden. I have a little planter right now, but I want to add a focal point. So I wanted a nice backdrop there on the fence. So I have been looking, and so far I just haven't found what I want. But those are actually grills from French doors that I found when I was out thrifting, and they were wood tone, and I painted them black and hung them up, wanting the French door look, and I didn't, I did not accomplish that. Once I hung them up, I'm like, okay, they look like black trellises. So they'll work. Maybe I'll put some lightweight vines on them. They're very light because they were just grills that go inside of a French door. But I thought, well, for now I'll leave them on there. But you know, sometimes when you experiment with DIYs, they're awesome and turn out great, and sometimes not. So there's always that chance. Okay, so look at the rose on the trellis arbor. It is just going to town. Now that's a generous gardener, and there's one on each side, and it has pretty flowers on it, but I just cannot believe all the growth on it. And I keep working on it, training it to go over the trellis, and I need to actually get a ladder out and bend those down, and I've been trying to weave them in and out through the trellis. It's linked below in the description. Not sponsored, but if you're looking for a rose trellis, this is a nice one. It's nice because it has the crisscross pattern, so it's pretty easy to put the rose canes through there and have them hold in place. So I had mentioned in the last garden tour that it was about time to start taking out the window boxes, and I've cut them back, and I will be taking them out when I get back from vacation and planting them up with fall. I did pick up some pumpkins when I was at Walmart, and they got in their little decorative pumpkins. So I added a few just to the front of the window boxes. Of course, I want to add some other stuff, but like I said, that'll all come when I get back from vacation. But so here we still have the roses blooming, the hydrangeas in the background. The sitting pretty roses are still looking nice. There's still buds on them and blooms. So that area back there I really like. And now that it's been so hot, they smell so good because the heat really makes their scent more noticeable. The phlox, the luminary phlox from Proven Winners, I cut off a bunch of the blooms already, and it put out a bunch more blooms. So I'm really impressed with this plant. I did look, I think I got it at Lowe's last year, and I went and looked and I didn't see any this year. So I know it's available. You can order, I think, online at Proven Winners Direct, and I'm sure if I went to a garden center I could get some. I'm kind of running out of room. I got to start moving some stuff around. Now, one of my projects I haven't got to because it's been so hot is my serendipity alliums now are all done. Their purple color's all gone. I have lavender spray paint that I'm going to be spray painting those. I did that last year, and I will show you when I get that done. They turned out really good, and they still look like they were blooming once you spray paint them. The knockout roses look really pretty. Knockout roses are great for color. I want to show you crossed. I have over in the corner, my eyesore for my backyard is of course our generator. It is a definite necessity though to have a generator. So I planted last season that red knockout rose and the white bobo hydrangea, and also put in the little evergreen tree that will only get about 5 foot tall when it finally gets to its full grown height. So that it'll fill in right nicely, but I'm really liking how well the knockout rose already in its second season has filled in and is covering. I mean, of course, from different angles. You can see it, you know, when you move around more, but it's really helping to camouflage it. The fountain is still looking really pretty with all the boxwoods. I'm really impressed with how well the boxwoods grew this year. I did fertilize them with shrub fertilizer with grain pellets, and it really seemed to help. They really grew. Now there is different sizes because some of them are older and some of them I just planted last year. The little ones just got planted last year because I lost a bunch in a winter storm. But looking good. And like I said, I have not pruned those and I won't prune them because I just want them to grow right now. I did put some pumpkins out yesterday in the urns. The stuff that was in there was pretty spent, and I knew by the time I got back it would be really spent. So I like the pumpkins in there and need some other fall color, but I thought that was nice for now. I had showed you in a post this week, and if you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. I post weekly in the community post that goes out of what's going on in the garden, and I showed you the autumn clematis, the white clematis back on the fence in its full glory. Look at that burning bush. That's my neighbor's tree, so I have a beautiful borrowed view right there as a backdrop. But that clematis is so pretty, and it smelt earlier in the week like jasmine. It had like a jasmine fragrance. It does really well, but in some states it is invasive, so check to make sure. And actually in Illinois it is listed as invasive, but they do sell it at all the garden centers. What I do to keep it in check though is after it gets done blooming here in the next few weeks, I'll cut it all the way down to the ground this fall, early winter. So I don't leave it. I don't let it revine because I know if you do that, it does get really out of control over time. And I did, my project this week, guys, was to clear this out. Now, if you seen last time's garden tour, this was just full of green. It had all kinds of plants that I had some columbine, lots of it, salvia, foxglove. Everything was done blooming, so it was just a sea of green. And I like having more white space. So I trimmed everything back, and I think it looks much better. Gave some of the roses trim and just went around and deadheaded. Tried to clean it up a little bit. The roses under the tree are getting ready to bloom, and I did show you this little rose here. This is Summer Breeze, and it's a climber, and I put a trellis back behind there, behind the tree, on the fence for it to climb on. Well, it reached through the tree, and it's using the magnolia as a trellis. So it's just too pretty. It's almost done now, so I'll trim it once it's done, but I just left it. I thought it was kind of charming there coming through the tree. Now over here we have Champagne Wishes is putting on more flowers, looking really good. And I worked in this area yesterday. This is an Eden Rose here next on the Black Couture, and its canes had gotten so huge. This was just one whole mass of green. And so I got in there and started clipping away, cleaned up the salvia at the base, the foxglove, and cut some of the roses that were spent back, cut some of the canes down, some of those huge canes. And I may have to rework this next year because I do have that little magnolia tree I planted because I want it to mirror this other magnolia tree and then have the lilac in the middle. So I may have to move some more stuff to make that work. So we'll see, more to come. Always something, you know, as a gardener, always something to change up. But like I said, there is that beautiful red rose, the red knockout, and then on this side we have the pink knockout and the bobos. Now the bobos are already turning brown. Some of them are still white, but we've got a lot of brown on them already. And that is turning red, and I think it's some kind of viburnum. It's quite old. It was here when we moved in. It does have little red berries on it. Can you see those little berries? But I think it has really pretty color. And then in the springtime, it has some white flowers usually. So I think it's some kind of viburnum, but I could be wrong. I still have color. It's still looking pretty. How is your garden looking? Do you have your fall plants all out now, all your mums? That's a big thing in Illinois. We have lots of mums. I know I've watched other gardeners around the country and actually around the world, and it's interesting to see what they plant for fall and what's available in their areas. It's all different. But in our area, in the Midwest in Illinois, it's a lot of mums. And the downside on mums is they just don't last very long because it's so hot. So I'm gonna go to the garden center when I get back and see what else I can find. Okay, the mailbox garden is still looking really pretty when we're past mid-September already. Really liking that ornamental grass. It looks gorgeous for fall. Highly recommend that. That's a Proven Winners annual, but well worth it. It just really filled out. And so then we've got some zinnias in there, salvia, coneflower. I did zinnias in all different colors. Lean more towards the fall colors. It worked out that way because we have brick on the front of our house and it's that old Chicago style brick. So it leans to those warm color palette and looks good then all summer long, and just changed it up a bit. Added the little marigolds there on the end. I do like those yellow marigolds. But I still like my pinks, purples, and whites, so I did add some of those in. The knockout rose did really well. And then the salvia, of course, has done really, really good like it does every year. All really happy with all the color that the mailbox garden has provided for the front yard. Thanks for hanging out with me today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the mid to late September garden tour so you could see here in Illinois what is still blooming for me. Look forward to showing you what I do for fall. Also, all my footage from when I'm gone on my trip. Can't wait to show you all that too. So have a great week, and I will see you in the next video, guys. And if you're looking for more garden inspiration, thrifting, or DIY, check out these videos.